This is 10 millimeter mild steel, which is 380 millimeters long. So my project today is a request from David Rancourt to make a port tong for his wife Christina. The average wine bottle neck seems to be about 1.125 inches in diameter, or around about 3.5 inches in circumference. So each tong jaw should be about 1.75 inches long to that second mark on my anvil face. David requested this as a gift for his wife ages ago, and so I apologize for only getting around to it now. I've done this once or twice before, but it's not the sort of tong that I make every day. I'd like to size the jaws to this piece, which is 28 millimeter. My mini swage here is a little bit too small. By the way, I've got another mini swage in the works that I think will be really useful, so look for that coming up soon. I need to give a big shout out to Stephen Watkins for his latest Super Thanks donation. Folks like Stephen and all my Patreon supporters you see listed at the end of each video are keeping this channel alive. Thanks very much. So I scratched my head for quite a while thinking how I should go about this tong. There's a lot of different ways, and finally decided I'll just go about it sort of like a forging tong, but then I'll embellish the handles. So I'm doing this operation here because I want the back end of the jaws and the front end of the jaws to be on the same level plane. And in that way, it'll wrap around as almost a complete circle. Port or wine tongs that you can buy online almost all have electrically welded half rounds for the jaws, and in my opinion, it's just not very appealing. Christina's initials are KC, and so that's what I'm putting on here. So you'll remember from a couple videos back that I was testing out a twist. Well, that's what I'm going to use here. After being squared up some, these twists are really interesting in my opinion. So there it is. This tongue is fine and delicate, but should work well for the purpose. So I had to get a bottle of hooch, and I've had this before, this Moscato d'Asti, and it's really sweet, sweet like honey, and I like it a lot. But for this experiment, it's probably a little bit too expensive. And look at the selection in this store. This is Carrefour. which is kind of like a French Walmart, I guess. And they've got a huge selection of wine, ones with corks and one without. I'll definitely be able to find something. A real wino paradise. So I've got some ice, and I got an old bottle of bourbon, Old Forester, which is really good for the money, and I really don't drink much anymore, but really good smelling whiskey. And this is the bottle I bought at Carrefour, a sweet red from La France. It says here, mise en bouteille dans nos chais, which I guess means bottled in our crib. You can heat up over a gas stove or anything like that, but I'm just using my forge for convenience. They say get the metal to a red hot heat, but that's very subjective and it's very hard to quantify. I would say you want a little color, but you really don't. Maybe if you see a little bit, if it's like a dull red, and then pull it out, and then when it's at that black heat, then maybe apply it. And most forums that I checked say to apply for about 1 minute, but I think 30 seconds should be sufficient. Again, it really depends on the metal, the heat, etc. I have to keep in mind that this whiskey bottle, the glass, is much thinner than a wine bottle. It's a jagged cut, but clean. There's no shards. So the dress rehearsal is over, and it's time for the real show. Again, I'm just going by feel, and I think this technique is mainly for show, though it does have a practical purpose. If you have an old bottle of port or wine, and the cork is very old and has deteriorated, it might be very hard to remove, or removing it might force particles into the wine maybe that you don't want. Just like I planned it, a perfect cut. À votre santé. And this actually is really good. Sweet. I like that. Thanks to all for watching, and to all, I'll catch you guys next time.